Good morning, everyone. Checking my meters. All right. I think I'm good there. Good Tuesday morning. Got my coffee. It's time for Coffee with the Cowbell. All right. Let's jump right into it. I'm your host, Ricardo Wilkins, with you here on this Tuesday morning. And the topic for today, if you saw the ad, is, and I don't have it ready, but it was how to collab with your favorite colleague in Teams. So let's dive right into that topic. Basically, is how do you collab with a specific individual? What are some of the tools you can use there? And so let me fire up Teams here, and let's just dive right into that. So, if you're out there in chat and have any questions, throw it in there. I am monitoring that. Happy to take any questions or pivot. But let's just start with Teams, and in this case, let's say that Bob Wiley is our favorite colleague. So what are the different ways that I can collaborate with Bob? So the first thing I would do if I'm in Teams, one of many things, is search box, Bob Wiley. And you can see that search, even before I actually see all the results, search does a few things for me. It certainly finds Bob, and that's where I'll go. But it also, and even the top hits, tries to figure out which previous chat conversation I might be looking for. So it's finding several group chats that Bob and I have been in. So that's useful because it might likely be that I'm trying to find some recent chat with me and Bob and others. So that's what that's doing. But let me go into Bob specifically. And that's going to take me into the individual chat for Bob. We know that chat in Teams is persistent, so it's seeing all our chat since forever. This one goes back to October 4th. So I can certainly continue or start up a new conversation with Bob in this same chat thread. So that's certainly one way to start collaborating. Of course, I can do a lot here, right? Collab or chat. Send files, all that good stuff. Now you can see that there's a few tabs still remaining or still part of this chat. One is the files. That's basically the files that we have shared with each other. That's really what I'm using that for. Not so much like a file collab area or a file storage area per se. And then the other two things. So I'm going to skip activity for a quick sec. LinkedIn. If Bob has a LinkedIn profile, this is going to help me get there. And if you are a frequent user of LinkedIn, then this might be helpful. If Bob's a favorite colleague of mine, I probably, LinkedIn is like, for meeting someone, I don't need to meet Bob, but I might want to use LinkedIn to see what's going on with Bob lately. So for instance, if you were to collab with me, this LinkedIn tab will be useful even though we've already met, because I'm constantly posting new content on LinkedIn. So you might want to use this to go see what's the latest thing I've done. In this case, Bob is fictional, and so there's no actual real Bob Wiley profile, but there are some other Bob Wileys. But anyway, if there was a real one, I could match it here for the sake of Teams, to let Teams know which one is correct. All right. Skipping past that, though, the activity. So this is meant to show the activity of Bob in Teams that we are both a part of. So again, if I'm looking for something Bob has posted or done, I know he did it recently, but I'm not sure where. This would help me there. Where's Bob said something, lately in this demo environment? we don't talk much, so it's not much there. But this would normally be filled with all the different places that Bob has talked. And if Bob or your colleague isn't very active in Teams, then this might look just like this, 1 or 2 posts. But if they are active, you'll see a lot more here. Okay. So those tabs are so more than just chat. The other tabs are useful. And then, of course, I can fire up a video or voice chat or call with Bob very easily. Share content with Bob with the screen sharing button. So this is kind of meant to just make a screen share easy without necessarily firing up a whole meeting and an invite and all of that, getting Bob in a meeting and then screen sharing. In our one-to-one chat, I just want to share my screen real quick. I may or may not already be in a call with him, that kind of thing. That's for adding more people. And then, of course, that's for popping out that chat in its own window. Okay. So that is really quick, a way to kind of get at Bob in Teams. Switch gears a little bit because I'll go to the other place that we spend our time, which is Outlook. And when that comes up, I need some background music to play when stuff loads slowly. There we go. So a couple things to do here, but one of the things that I wanted to show, I'm not sure how much people realize the power of the search box. And as you can see, that's where I'm going across the board, right? So Bob Wiley is here. I didn't even have to search because AI kind of knows that me and Bob are cool like that. But let's go ahead and open his profile card. And let's see, yeah. So we can see a couple things. One, that LinkedIn button is there as well. Things about, where he is in the org. This could be useful. Who are Bob's colleagues, manager, and that kind of thing. What teams are they a member of? But then also some nice, easy access to, their email and chat. And of course, I would normally know these things. Now, what isn't showing here, I think, because of the lack of content in this demo environment. Let me try one more person. Let me try Nestor. Yeah. So Nestor looks better just because he's it's a more used profile here. So you can kind of see more about the organization. You can see here that I can do some things like starting a video call, but schedule a meeting is also useful. So that gets us and fires us up right into a meeting, right into the scheduling assistant, gets us going there. So I do all that to just show that the search box is a good place to start. But what I wanted to also do is a lot of times we ask the question, show me all the places where Nestor sent me an email, or where I've sent Nestor an email. That tends to be a common question. I come up here and I do from : Nestor. All right. What I do not do. Okay, so from : Nestor, you can see that right there. And that is going to show me, let me see, did I do that right? From : Nestor. Should show me all the emails from Nestor for which in this environment. I just need to flesh it out more. I don't think there are any. And that would make sense. However, what I don't do is type Nestor and then start browsing through my results looking for emails from Nestor. I don't just type Nestor. That's a pro tip. From : Nestor or to : Nestor. And maybe I should do to : Bob. Yeah, see so I think that's working out better. But from me to Bob, again, I don't just type Bob and then start sifting through. I get very specific. I want to know to Bob, and of course this can be even more specific. I can put date ranges and things like that. But what I'm really trying to call out here is the most efficient way to kind of figure out the emails from you and your favorite colleague is to use the to colon and the from colon, and don't just browse. It's just a waste of time. All right. So there's that. And then there's probably other ways we could do things in Outlook, but now I'm going to jump out into, jump out into the browser. I'm going to go to our homepage, portal.office.com, or however it is you get to your 365 apps. Really what I'm trying to get to is, let's go to all apps, and I wanted to go to Delve. You may or may not use Delve a lot, but what Delve is good at is showing us a little bit more about our colleagues in terms of files and whatnot. So I'm going to go to Bob here. I'm going to get a nice little profile card about Bob. I can see more here. And this actually will give me a little bit more information than the profile card I saw in Outlook or in Teams, especially if Bob has come in and edited their profile. In your org, you may or may not be able to make additional edits on your profile, but in theory, you could do things like where did I go to school and what's my favorite topics and things like that. So that would be shown here, which could be interesting. And so I need to pick a different person because since Bob is not very active, it's not showing me what I really want. Let's go to Nestor. Because really what I wanted to show here, and so you can see Nestor does have some additional things in his profile, school and projects he's working on and skills that he has. So that's letting you see, about me. So this is a good example of a profile that's a lot more interesting than what Bob had. So I really I shouldn't have picked Bob in this scenario. So I'm gonna stick with Nestor now. The org chart. But what I really want to show here is you see these documents from Nestor. Okay, lots of different documents. The thing with Delve that gives it a bad rap is Delve assumes that, people assume that Delve is showing me all of Nestor's private docs that he never wanted me to see. That's not true. It's only showing me docs that I have access to. Whether or not Nestor intentionally wanted people to see them is a different story, but Nestor has made these docs publicly available either consciously or unconsciously, and that's why I get to see them. So am I bringing you here as a way to just snoop around on people? No. This is where I come if I know that Bob or Nestor and I, in this case, are working on a particular project, but I don't know where it is, or I think it might be in his OneDrive, and shared out, but he hasn't shared it, or I don't know where that share is. I can come here to find things, or I know that Nestor is working on a doc that he hasn't really talked about yet, but I'm sure he's saving it in one of our public spaces, so I can come here to find that without necessarily bothering him. Hey, where's that document, right? So anytime I know about files specific to a person, this might be a good place to come and find those things, okay? The last thing I would do here often is come here for someone that I don't necessarily maybe know quite as well, in order to see what kind of things they work on, what kind of things are they a SME in, right? As I start to look through the documents they've made public, I can kind of see what kind of things they work on, what kind of things they talk about, and so that could be useful as well. And in that same vein, if I'm, let's say, interested in SharePoint, going to someone who is considered in the org like a SharePoint geek, this would probably have some interesting documents that I would want to read. So yeah, if you were in the same org as me and were wondering about teams, just coming to my Delve page, you'd probably find some interesting documents maybe for teams. So Delve is another way to start. And of course, by coming in here, because these have been shared, and some, I guess they could be shared read-only, but in many cases, they're probably shared in a added capacity. This could be the jump-off point where I go into a document and then begin real-time collaboration with Bob on this document, okay, or any document. Okay. So that was 3 places. Let me close this out. That was 3 places where you can kind of kick off your collab. There's many others, but I wanted to call out some ones that I thought were not quite as well known. Let me get out of here. This is all distracting. Some places that were not necessarily all that well known. The last place I'll talk about is, and again, it's for your org. This may not be relevant, but coming in here to Yammer or Viva Engage, depending on your perspective of what your org is doing, and using this to find things about people. And I don't know if this is going to produce something, but here's people. Yep. So there's Nestor. And in terms of conversations in Yammer, Nestor has done something. So like this one here. And so, he's been in some conversations, and I could continue those conversations with him here. So this is another good place to, especially to figure out what people are interested in, what they're talking about. And if I really like this conversation specifically, I could make sure I'm getting all the emails about it or notifications. So Viva Engage / Yammer is another good spot. All right. So that was just a quick little talk about collabing with your favorite colleague. Hope that was helpful. Otherwise, finish your coffee, get your day started. See you next time on Coffee with the Cowbell.